Hey guys, hello. I'm just trying to set up the camera a little bit because it's so yeah. So I would like to talk about emotional honesty a little bit. I try to make short video. It's really not easy, guys, because when you start to talk, all the details starts to come in, down on me, and then I'm sharing it. So I try to be brief because I don't know if you watch long videos. I don't think so. So radical emotional honesty is a big part of KI, and it underlies all the dimensions, all the tools, no matter where you are in your process, on which level within KI, which dimension, it doesn't matter. It permeates all the dimensions of KI, all the practices, emotional honesty, and and the ability of being present and observing whatever you are feeling, what emotion you are feeling in the body, and what thoughts you are having about that emotion automatically. Like learning to be present and to observe, becoming your own witness, your own witness in a way. It's like the basic of the basics, and not like the basics at the bottom, but it pervades all the dimensions and practices of KI. Kilo inquiries, somatic processing, if you don't know it yet. That's what I do. KI, kilo inquiries, awareness-based somatic processing. That's awareness, like being aware of what's happening. And that's the first step to learn. It's a very important piece of it. And that dimension, it's just okay, because my experience until now in my life, and I hear the same from people, my clients or the people I meet, meeting many people, that they, when I start to work with someone who comes to this work, and we start to have sessions, and I start to teach, I start to facilitate them, they start to learn the tools, and we start to go into the body and just witness and observe and admit what they are feeling in the body, what's the emotion. They start to learn to notice what is and name the emotions, what's happening in the body, and to see the thought that belongs to that emotion. For example, I'm sad, I'm feeling sadness. And not just during the session, but in their lives, they learn to do this. So for example, I'm sad, I'm feeling sadness in my belly or in my chest. That's okay. I learned to feel this and to name what I'm feeling, to acknowledge that. But in KI, we also learn to acknowledge and see the thought that belongs to that emotion. For example, I'm feeling sadness. That's okay. But then I see the thought that, okay, but I shouldn't feel that for a long time, because then my boss doesn't like that. If I'm sad, because then I can't prove myself at work, or there is something wrong with me. So there some trouble is going to come if I feel and show this sadness for a long time. Or yeah, something like this. If I feel this sadness for a long time, then they are going to fire me because I just can't bring myself into the work, and I can't bring the numbers, so to speak, So I have to be in a certain way at my workplace. My boss has to see me in a certain way at work. So if I don't bring it, then this sadness is going to cause me trouble. And it all goes back to childhood. These thoughts that belong to the emotion of sadness in my belly, it all goes back to childhood. I had the same experience. It's just an example. I had the same experience with family, with parents, etc. So that's what's been going on. That emotion and thought process has been going on in my relationship, my friendships, the workplace, etc. That was just an example. I don't have this exact experience. It just came in that way. And emotional honesty is something that is fucking missing in this world. That's a layer, very important layer, dimension, and a huge part of our being, a very essential and natural part of our being, to be emotionally aware, express our emotions, and just be aware of that and be in the experience of that. So that's blocked in our fucking society, you know? It's not there, and causing everyday tension for many people, for almost everyone, you know? And I know many people started this already, just like me or you know, to come into the body and learning some presence techniques at least, and just starting to become aware of that mechanism that we have every day. We just try to not to feel it, not to see this, and just trying to repress it and run away from that. But mostly in general, in our world, in our society, is just not there, guys. People are living in tension, you know, just as I lived. I remember, you know, because I wasn't always a KI facilitator. So I started as a marketing and advertisement manager. I did it for 3 years. I had a burnout very quickly. So, you know, and this just wasn't there. And I hear it, my clients report the same thing to me, that when we start to learn that emotional honesty, they just say that, man, this wasn't there in our family, you know, for most of them. And to some degree, it just wasn't there for them, just as it wasn't there in our family. Like talking about emotions and being fully open and being able to show it to within the family just wasn't there. I guess because it wasn't there for my parents too, within their families, like it's a generational missing out emotionally somehow, something like this. And so of course, if the parents don't know how to feel their emotions, then they can't receive it through the children. They can't show this to their child, to the children, you know. So emotional honesty, yeah. So I started like marketing and advertisement manager. I did some sales too, so it was just, it wasn't there, you know. I had to wear a mask. That is Serena. That's what I bring to the workplace and to my colleagues and my boss. That that's me. And through this Serena, through this mask, like a robot, that's the number that I have to bring, you know. That's the number, that's the quality that I have to work to the company, to the boss. So that's the expectation towards me. And I can be sad after a breakup, okay, but not for a long time, because it disturbs that quality that I bring, you know. So anyway, I'm very happy that I'm not in that anymore. You know, I just couldn't go back. I don't want to, you know, I couldn't live like this anymore. It was so fucking hard, you know, man. I was so tensioned all the time. It was so tight. The box was so tight. I cannot live like this anymore. Anyway, so it's not there, you know, the emotional honesty is not there. And when you come to KI, or maybe, or probably you already started this, that's the first thing that we learn. You don't just bring up all your traumas and you don't know what to do with that. It doesn't work like this. First, we start to learn, you know, becoming the witness of our own experience. We start to learn to be in the body. We start to learn to recognize what is that particular emotion that I'm feeling now, if I can name it. You know, just going into the body and just observing what's happening within me, and also observing the thought that I might have around or about that emotion that is connected with that emotion. So like learning to observe the thought and emotional process that's going on within myself. So that's the first step. And as I said, this emotional honesty and observation with myself, it pervades all the dimensions of KI. It's the basic of the basics, guys. Yeah. And yeah, I remember back then when I started all this self-inquiry and presence within myself, this self-work, becoming conscious of myself, really long ago. That was the first thing that I learned and started to practice, becoming present and just becoming present, you know. First step within the radical emotional honesty is becoming present to some degree. And very simple things help me. I don't know if these things work for you. I'm just sharing my experience. It was, for example, staying with the breath. For some people it works, for some people it doesn't work at all. So I was staying in the breath, like I was just staying in the belly, in the diaphragm area, or through the navel or below the navel. I was just following the breath in the belly. So I needed, back then, I remember that I needed an anchor, you know, within my body to stay present to what was happening. This was a nice tool. Or I was aware of my feet touching the ground, you know, like the whole day. So that was another tool that I had to stay present, you know, stay in the moment. Or another tool was that I felt as if my awareness or my presence emanates into the body from behind the body, from head to toes, feeling it from there. So I had some space to observe, not to create some distance or separation. These are not like separate particles within me. It's all just presence. But somehow I needed some space, you know, like I'm watching my Netflix, the Netflix of thoughts and emotions, my functioning, my mechanism from behind the body, so to speak. So I had some space, so I could slow down. I was less identified. I could slow down to observe what's happening. Or another thing that was, these practices or tools stay with me for some time, you know, and have me to be present and observe of what's happening. Or my favorite one was, I think it came with Eckhart Tolle. He's a good one at that. He's good at that. I think you can find a lot of presence practices on YouTube or online. Just be aware, because many of them or most of them brings you into presence, but not many of them don't make you aware of the thought process. But that's an important part. That's why KI is different in a way, you know. So don't just be aware of the emotion, but the thoughts that you have about that emotion or about what's happening, etc. Where I was in that. So yeah, my favorite one was, because a lot of traumas happened to me on the physical and emotional level, like for many of us. It was very important to stay present through the senses and through the body, through the touch, through the hearing, being present to what I'm seeing, and being present, for example, how it is for me as this phone is touching my skin, you know, like being present through the touch, through the sense, through the skin, you know, how it is for me when I touch my shoulder, you know, like be aware of the sensation of the touch, or when I touch this ball or something, you know, something like this. How it is being present in the moment when I'm washing my hands and feel as the water pours into my hands and touching my skin, the touch of the water, you know, the sensation of that. So the sensation of things and be present in that was the best one for me, actually, for a very long time, you know, until I got used to being in the body and feeling comfortable with emotions and thoughts. And just, yeah, sensation also, like seeing that bird, the bird just actually flew there. And also like being aware of that the heater is giving some noise, you know, or something is popping, or something popping there, or something. I can hear the clock, you know. So something like this, just being present. I call it like moment to moment awareness. Moment to moment awareness was one of the best for me. The breathing was also nice, but the moment to moment awareness through the senses. Yeah, or another one was also nice, that sense of gratitude and saying thank you stayed with me, sorry, during the day. And so whatever I did, like thank you that I received this message from that person. Thanks for meeting that person. Thanks for the breath. Thank you for just being. Thank you for this glass of water. You know, these type of things, like a sense of gratitude helped me to stay present in the body. These are different tools. There are many out there, so you can search for these tools. So what I wanted to say is that emotional honesty and presence is a big fucking missing dimension in our, and missing experience in our world, and we don't have to continue this. I don't continue this. I've had enough of that. That was enough. I vote for emotional freedom, because if I don't learn how to be present and observe this, I cannot become free emotionally. And if emotional freedom and feeling and expressing my emotions is not there, then I cannot be myself. I'm living a lie, and I don't want to continue this. I've had enough of that. Yeah. And so I'm just saying that we don't have to continue this. And but if we don't learn that very first step of emotional honesty, then it will not change in the world. So you can't expect the world to change if I don't learn this within myself. So it starts here. And believe me or not, I don't really care anymore about the world. If it's repressed or not, if they are honest or not, if I can be myself or not with that person or that place. I don't give a shit anymore, because I'm free on the inside. I'm still in progress, but I'm already feel on the inside. Like, that's the most important thing for me, to feel my emotions, to express that, and I don't go back to that anymore, you know, like erring on the side of hiding myself, or I always go that direction towards emotional healing, emotional honesty, emotional feeling, emotional expression. That's myself, you know. I always go towards that. I don't go back there. And you don't have to go back there. You can learn that too. Anyway, I don't want to make a long video, but radical emotional honesty, these are the particles within it. Having an anchor in the body, find your anchor in the body to be able to observe your emotional and thought process. That's the basic of the basics of KI that pervades all the dimensions. Yeah. These are the particles within the emotional honesty. Just learn that. Also, if you can, or if you are interested, I highly recommend that. That's not a missing part in the society. I mean, it's there, but it's because this is a missing particle, a missing experience, or a missing dimension within ourselves. That's why it's there in the society. Yeah, so just getting familiar with the body, with the emotions and thoughts. KI is very good in that. And then, yeah, because if you come to KI, if you want to have sessions, or if you want to be trained in that, not just that we bring up your trauma and then you sit there and you don't know what to do. It's more that there are layers, and that's the first layer to learning to become present in your body and to observe that, just as I described. And then that's a tool also within KI that you can learn with me. And then as you go deeper and deeper, because that's the basic, that presence. And then as we go deeper and deeper, opening deeper and deeper layers of your emotional repression, I will show you, I will teach you, I will give you different tools as we go deeper, because each layer needs like different tools to open it up. So it's like a process, but that's the first step. That's going to be the first thing that you will learn when you come to me for sessions. Yeah. And yeah, I'm also planning to, if you want to learn that, because that's where you start any self-work or any trauma healing or anything that you want to reach, this is where you start. Because that's your anchor in the process, you know, you can't do it without it. So I'm planning to do an event with one of my very good friends here. It's going to be an in-person meeting, and that's what we are going to learn, this radical emotional honesty, and how to learn that, how to be that, how to reach that. So we are going to give you tools so you can learn it on a practical level, so you're safe then, because you know how to do it. So we are planning to create an event for that group. It's going to be a group event, a group program, a group process. Probably in the near future, but yeah, you will see it online. And yeah, that's all for now. Hope it gave you something. I just wanted to encourage again, you know, like that's so fucking good, guys, when you don't have to repress yourself, your emotions, or whatever is going on here, you know. And there is an allowance and acceptance, but without the thought that, okay, I'm allowing this sadness, for example, I'm allowing this, but without the thought that I'm allowing it to get rid of it, but I have to get over it. You don't have to get over it. That's the difference. So whenever this thought comes up, we can bring it into awareness and just let it go with different tools, you know, because that's not freedom. If I can allow an emotion in order to get over it, that's not fucking freedom, you know. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to go into it because I could talk a lot about what's behind that thought, you know, but that's a different topic. Maybe I will record another video. So allowing emotions and experience and thoughts without the conditioning and the pressure on yourself that I have to allow it to get over it. I hope you feel the tension in that, and also the freedom and lightness that you can have without that thought. Yeah.